Give me some really good food and that fried pie, and then maybe I'll roll. Well, my name is Lolita Moore, and I was going to introduce myself as Maribel De Leon, because that's who they had me on the list as presenting tonight, but I wanted to get a couple of laughs out of it. Everybody know Maribel? You know Maribel? So you know, she's beautiful, but But my name is Lolita Moore, and I work for the Dallas Metropolitan Small Business Development Center. My office is located in Cedar Hill. Maribel and some of the other councils are located downtown at the Bill J. Priest, but I am located in Cedar Hill. And so a lot of people don't know about us, but we want to change that we get the word out of who we are. Let me tell you a little bit about my background, and then I'll get into the presentation. If you want to open up, this is a PowerPoint presentation. It's inside of your folder. So when we get started, if you want to follow along. Now, I like interactive classes. I'm not big on just sitting here lecturing you, and I'll tell you how we're going to do that. I even have an activity that we're going to do. But I am, let's see, my background is human resources. I was a human resources director and manager for many years, responsible for hundreds of employees in different states. And if you know anything about human resources, the role of human resources is to be the liaison between employer and employee, right? It is to ensure that employer is compliant with federal, state, and local laws. And that's okay, I'll bring it back up. And it's to make sure that the employees that they hire are treated in compliance with federal, state, and local laws. And so the challenge for me in human resources is that I often found that Mr. Employer didn't want me to educate employee too much. Why? And there's a lot of interaction. I'm asking you to get a lot of feedback. Why don't you think they wanted me to educate them too much? Now, I put name tags in because, but I see your name on your tent card. It's okay, and I can try to read it. So yes, it's yes. Why do you think?
Because the employees would hold employers accountable for not adhering to policy.
Got it. Have you ever heard that saying, "What you don't know can hurt you"?
Right.
Is that true? Is it true?
Yes.
What you don't know can't hurt you. I think that's a lie. Because what you don't know can destroy you. And so the power is empowering people. And so I actually went to my center back in 2003, and just like you wanting to start a business, I sat down with a counselor and said I wanted to start a business. I wanted to empower employees. And he said, Lolita, I think you have a very good idea. He gave me some things to do. I did part of them, didn't do all of them. But I ran out of the office doing the bulk of what I understood about business, and that was start your business plan and network. So I got some cheap little Vistaprint business cards and started networking. And when I say I networked, I networked. Every time I heard of an event, I was there shaking hands and passing out business cards. Well, 3 months after being all of that busy work, I didn't make any money. So it was a business failure. So I said, okay, I'm the kind of person that don't believe in waddling in failures. And I believe you are too, or else you wouldn't be sitting in this room. I don't believe in waddling. I think you can do several things with failures, and waddling is not one of them. So I said, okay, what better place to go learn what I did wrong than to go work for the SPDC? And that's how I got to the Dallas Metropolitan SPDC. Now, when I got there, I started reading and studying, because I'm trying to answer this question, why did I fail? In fact, statistics says that 80% of all small businesses that start, they fail within the first 5 years. So here I sit in this statistic, and I have no idea how I got here. And so the more I read and the more I studied businesses, I started seeing that there was a trend that successful businesses all seem to have. Now, it doesn't mean they implemented them in any consecutive order, but they had these trendings that I had to believe was the reason why they succeeded. On the other hand, businesses that fail have trends too. You know when that light bulb go off and you go, oh. Well, that's what started happening to me. I started recognizing why I failed and why I didn't succeed. Now, there is no one, let me say this, no one can guarantee a business. All right, we're not gods. We don't have any crystal balls. But what we can do is provide you with enough information to make the best decisions. And that's what it's all about. It's about making the best decisions by gathering the right information. And so I started looking, and there are two things that I noticed that businesses that fail that seem to rise to the top. No one thing, but two things that I saw consistently, and that was when the business owner does their target market. I think I'm after A, when who I really need to be after is C. That's number one. And the second thing that I noticed is that the business owner never grasps the financial piece of the business. They don't know how to create a P&L. They don't know how to create a balance sheet. And then further than that, they don't know how to use those two tools to make decisions about their business. Well, the reason why my business failed is because of number one. You see, who I thought I was after didn't value what I had. Didn't matter how good my information was, and I had really good information because my background was in human resources. I wanted to empower them of understanding federal, state, and local laws, understanding their rights and responsibilities. But my target market that I was after didn't value what I had. So it didn't matter how good it was, they didn't value it enough to pay for it. And neither were they gonna pay me enough that I could make a profit. So there are different reasons. And so that learning, that failure for me is what I use to talk to clients now. I've restarted a different business and doing quite well, helped a friend start a business, and so I'm growing. But even with all I know, I have to still be flexible to make those changes depending on what my customer wants and needs. So we're gonna get into that a little bit tonight. Now, I know you guys have gone through introductions, and Mr. Mark, how much time do I have? I need to keep on track, because if you give me 15 minutes, I'll go 15 minutes. You give me an hour, I can go an hour.
You have to 8 o'clock.
To 8, oh, wonderful, I love it, okay.
There's a break in, somewhere in the middle there.
Okay, so, okay, we can do that, wonderful. You know my name, but I don't know your name, and I don't know your business. So can we go around the room and you tell me your name and tell me your business? And that'll help me out. Who wants to start? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Lakeisha Montgomery, and I'm attorney for Hair Salon.
Okay, beautiful.
April birthday, Blue Jay Boutique.
Okay, okay.
Tommy Martin, CDB, Lawn Care Landscaping LLC.
Okay.
Eduardo Lobo is Border West Town.
Okay.
Border.
Okay, very good.
Hi, Andre Sisman for Seven Oaks Music School.
Okay, wonderful.
Jasmine Jernigan with Aesthetic Innovations, creative design firms.
Okay, beautiful.
Eva Taylor, Eva's House Barbecue.
Lawrence Taylor, People's House of Barbecue. And I have a question.
Okay.
You said one was identified target market. What did you say two was?
Number two, the business owner never grasps the financial part of the business, or financial, just put financial acumen. They never grasp that part. How do you run a business based off the two main tools, P&L and a balance sheet? Okay, who's next?
Leah Whiten with Cutie Pie.
Okay,
Kayla Hayes with High Heels.
okay,
Ladrina Jones with Brook and Jones Legal Services.
okay, okay.
My name's Armando Laredo Motion Design. I do design and animation.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, have we, everybody? No?
Elisa Williams, Brooklyn Lasers.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, fantastic. All right, now let me tell you, in my presentation, we're gonna go around the room, and you have it in front of you, and we're gonna take turns, and we're gonna read a slide. And I think we'll start with Mr. Norris. He'll read the first slide, and then we'll go to Ms. Eva, and we'll just go down the road. How about that? All right.
If you can read.
If, and everybody in here can read, or they wouldn't be here trying to start a business.
Okay, the Small Business Development Center, SBDC. The largest management assistance program serving the business sector in the United States.
Okay, how many people have ever heard of the SBDC? You've heard of it? Okay. How many have ever gone to the SBDC and received assistance? Okay, fantastic. Now I'm clicking, but this is, okay, there we go.
About Us, nonprofit organization counseling to small business owners, managing, financing, and operating.
Now, there are two things that I always encourage someone to remember when you hear the word nonprofit. Nonprofit means that it is a community service organization. Someone saw a need or want in the community and said, I am gonna create this nonprofit to meet that need. Can anybody think of a nonprofit? Any nonprofit come to mind? United Way.
Shoes for my children.
Shoes for my children, okay? Any others?
Lotus Charities. Lotus Charities.
Lotus Charity. The one that comes to mind for me is the American Red Cross. So someone said in the case of a disaster, there is no place or immediate relief for American citizens by way of food, water, and shelter. So we're gonna create this organization that if anything happened in the United States, we will automatically deploy volunteers to go and make sure that those three needs are met: food, water, and shelter on an immediate basis. So number one, nonprofits are strictly community service organizations. Number two, nonprofits are never owned by the people that start them. Never owned by the people that start them. You can always give recognition. You can always say this particular person started it, but they can't say I own this. Nonprofits are governed by a board of directors, and those board of directors can at some point boot the person out that started the organization, depending on how you set it up. So they're never owned. Now the federal government says if a person is gonna start a nonprofit, and they typically do with their own funding, what we will make accessible to them are federal dollars. So every time you hear the federal government giving money away, it is for nonprofits, okay? The federal government doesn't have a program that I'm aware of, and I've been doing this for 6 years, that are for for-profit businesses. Maybe get a grant, you may get some type of contract with a local government, but there is no program that is for federal grants to give you money. Tell me why. Why do you think not?
Because everybody wants to start a nonprofit.
Everybody wants to start a nonprofit? What else? I mean, let's talk about for-profit. Why doesn't the federal government give you money for profit?
Because for-profit businesses are organized to make money and not have grant money.
Okay?
They're basically based for making money.
Would you like for Donald Trump to get your tax dollars? Would you like for the wealthiest people in the world to be able to qualify for your tax dollars? Because that's where those grants come from.
But they
No.
do.
Well,
They do get our money. They do get our taxes.
not by way of grant. They may get it, but it's not by a federal grant. There may be some loopholes, and I don't deny that. But you don't want the federal government giving away your tax dollars to companies that are very wealthy companies. So those programs, federal tax dollars, those grants are designed for nonprofits because they're saying you are meeting the need of some type of population in the community, so we want to help you do that. I get a lot of people walk in the office and say, Lolita, where's that government money? Do y'all remember seeing a commercial with this guy that he had this suit on with all the question marks? Anybody ever seen that commercial? And he's telling you to go after your money, go get your money from the government, go get your money from the, has anybody ever got their money? Anybody in this room ever got their money? I never got mine. And the reality is, again, you have to keep in mind that federal tax dollars that are given by way of grants are for nonprofit organizations. So the SBDC, I said all that to say this, the SBDC is a nonprofit. We are a nonprofit organization, and our population that we have are entrepreneurs and business owners. So if you're looking to start a business or grow a business, you can go to any state. Just last week, I was in San Francisco. Every year, all of the small business development centers called the America's SBDCs, we get together and we talk about how do we better help you. We take classes, we get information. We learn everything there is to know about starting a business and what's available so that when we come back to our offices, we can better assist you. And so there are over 1,300 counselors and advisors in San Francisco last week, and we had a really good time of learning what to do. So our target market and our population are small business owners and entrepreneurs. And you can go one time or you can go 200 times. As often as you need to go and talk to a counselor, I encourage you to do that, and we want you to do that. The reason why, the needs that you have as a brand new business start is completely different after you've been in business for 3 years. And then it changes even more after you grow after that. So because your needs as a business owner change, that service is always available. And guess how much it costs? It doesn't, I don't say nothing, I say don't cost anything additional. Because if you pay tax dollars, you pay for this service. So thank you for my paycheck. Thank you for my paycheck. That's how I get paid, is because you pay taxes. All right, moving on to the next one.
SBDCs are in your area. The North Texas SBDC network consists of offices located throughout 49 counties in North Texas. SBDC offices can be found in rural, urban, and suburban communities 2017, 33% of North Texas SBDC business consulting clients were women, 48% were minorities, and 8.5% were veterans.
So I wanna show you, my network that I work in, we span from Gainesville all the way down to, what is that over there? Gainesville to Waco. And then from Mount Pleasant, that's not Waco. I can't even read my own stuff right there, but this is the one from Gainesville to Mount Pleasant, from Waco, Mount Pleasant to Waco. And this is my office, let me find me. This is my office right here. I'm in Cedar Hill. But this consists of 49 different counties. And you can imagine that sometimes when I'm talking to an advisor, depending upon where the location is, will tell me the types of businesses people tend to want to start. If it's a very rural area, I may find agricultural business, but it doesn't matter where you are. Texas is so large. This is all North Central Texas. Again, how often can you go to the SBDC to get services? As often as you want. As often as you want, you can go in and get services. And I love the statistics because just in North Texas alone, not all of Texas, 33% of the people that came in were women, and 48% of them were minorities, and 8.5% was veterans. And so we love that. Next. So these are just a list of whoever, let's see. Lakeisha, you're next. I'm just gonna go through this really, really fast. So North Central Texas, we consist of, these are all of our centers in North Central Texas, starting with my office in Cedar Hill. Most of you may be familiar with Dallas, but Grace and Kilgore all the way down. And we have what are called specialty centers. Now, specialty centers, we have two, Center for Government Contracting and International Programs. The specialty centers are designed that when you, after you've grown, let's say 2 or 3 years you've been in business, the Center for Government Contracting was created to help you do business with the government, whether that's federal, state, or on a local level. They do have a requirement that you've been in business for at least 3 years, but they will help you with things like getting up with SAM. This is a database to sign up and to find out what contracts and things that are available. They help you with minority certifications if you qualify for those. The Center for Government Contracting will help you do that. And then after you've grown a little bit more, if you want to expand your business, you can do it internationally. Did you know that you can expand your business internationally not only by products but also services? Did you know that you can expand in services internationally? And that office is designed to walk you through that process. How do you do that? So you would typically start with a counselor, what we call it our traditional center, and then that counselor will refer you over to one of these services. Okay, any questions so far?
What are some of the services that international programs offer?
So if you want to do imports, how do you do that? They walk you through that process. What documentation do you need? How do you set that up? If you want to do exports, who do you talk to in China? If you want to export to China, who would be your connection? They walk you through that whole process.
But it wouldn't that be a product-based?
Could be a service. It could be a service.
Well, that's what kind of services? I mean, just service, period. What?
Let me see, let me give you some examples. Let's say, accounting services. It's a wide variety. Just think of, again, I'm not international, I just know that that's what they do. And just think about a service that can go around the world. Facebook, you look at Facebook, it's all over the world. So, those services and products can go all over. All right. Now, our partners. How many of you guys are familiar with the SBA? Ever heard of the SBA? Stands for the Small Business Administration. The SBA is a U.S. Agency. It's by the United States. It's a U.S. government agency that was created to provide information to small businesses. And I often tell a client, as we're working together, depending upon your needs, I'll tell you to go out to the SBA site. They have a wealth of information. In fact, in that packet that you have, I've provided to you a booklet from the SBA. Wealth of information. And there's typically an SBA office located in most major cities. Our SBA office, happen to be located off of Amon Carter Boulevard. If you ever go to DFW, it is right over there in that area, not too far from DFW, and that is called the Dallas-Fort Worth SBA office. Now again, they provide a wealth of information for small businesses. However, the SBA was not created to provide one-on-one counseling. They can give you general information, they have a loan guarantee program that when you come to funding, but the SBA was not created to provide one-on-one counseling. That's where the SBDC centers come into play, so that you can sit down and talk to a counselor. Another one of our partners is Dallas County Community College. Anybody familiar with Dallas County? Okay, Dallas County consists of 7 colleges. Those colleges are our hosting institution for the SBDC. Because we are a nonprofit, remember I said we're a nonprofit, 75% of the dollars we need to operate will come from your federal tax dollars, leaving the 25% left over. That comes from a hosting institution. The Dallas Metropolitan SBDC, all of us, our hosting institution is Dallas County District Office. If you look at our Collin County SBDC, their hosting institution is Collin County Community College. If you look at our sister campus in Tarrant County, their hosting institution is Tarrant County Community College. So it could be a 2-year college, it can be a 4-year college, it can even be an entity in the community like a chamber of commerce. Literally, any organization in the community that recognizes the value of having a resources for entrepreneurs. Why do you think that's important? Why do you think it's important to have a resource in your community? Why is that important?
To help the community assess bills. You want the community to grow, you want to grow business, you're hoping somewhere in the community can live.
Absolutely. Our goal and our desire for you entrepreneurs and business owners is that you do create jobs. You create jobs in the community, and maybe some other time I'll get a chance to show you just how widespread and how great this program is that you're in and that you're getting these resources because you create the next jobs. And understand that a city grows and flourishes based off its tax base. So the better you are in your job and creating this business, you create jobs. And what happens when you have communities where there are jobs? If you're creating jobs, what do people tend to do? They spend money, but what else do? They pay taxes, exactly. And how do they pay those taxes? By working, but also buying houses. That's how communities are built, because somebody said, I have to drive all the way across town, so why don't I find me a home in that area? So you grow your taxes by working, you grow your taxes by your housing taxes, so that's how a community grows. And those taxes in that particular community help to pay for your police departments, it helps to pay for your school district. And the better you are, the better a city is at growing its tax base, that's a nicer community, because I can afford a good police and a fire department. I can afford good teachers. So that's why that's vital for us to help you create your business so you can create jobs. Okay? All right. Resources that we have. I'm going to show you a little bit tonight about IBIS World. It's a research database. Another resource tool that we have is called Reference USA. This is provided, it's a government division, and I use this tool. So let's say one of my clients is looking for customers. They're looking for consumers. I can find you any customer all over the United States. I can find you any business. So if you have a B2B, I can find any company in the United States, anybody in Canada. If if it's new, if your business has something to do with doctors, there are over 855,000 doctors on this list that I can help you find. So we use this tool to help you find customers, whether that is B2C or B2B. Next one we use is Demographics Now. How many people are in your area? Just think about it. Wherever you're setting up shop, who lives in your area? Where are they? What does that population look like? And are you setting up your shop in the right area? So let's say if I had a client that was wanting to set up an automotive shop, and he came in and he said, well, Lisa, I want to put my shop here. Well, when we looked at the demographic information, it was saturated with automotive places. However, if he had just drove 10 or 15 miles down the road in another city, there was no automotive. So which is better, to go to a heavily saturated, competitive area, or to go to an area where there is less competition? So that's how we use this tool to help you find your demographics. Where are your people that you're going after? All right, so all of that just to get here. All right, strategic business plan writing. I think we're at you, Lakeisha. You can take it away.
A roadmap for your business that outlines goals and details. How you plan to achieve those goals. How will the business operate? Should be written by a business owner.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How many of you guys have the paper maps in your car? Remember the old paper Texas map? Anybody have any maps in their car? Anybody remember the maps that you used to have in your car? They was typically you didn't fold them right, so they was torn, and you could, if you tore them in the wrong spot, you couldn't tell. So nobody have any paper maps. But how many of you guys have GPS? Okay, that's everybody. You have a smartphone, you have GPS. So times have changed and I often wonder what happened to those companies that used to make those maps. I wonder what happened to them.
Are they making them digital now? They still making them?
Maybe, don't know. But most of us have GPS, and that is your road. Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel lost if you don't have your phone? Do y'all feel like me? Anybody feel just absolutely lost that I simply don't know how I got from point A to point B just a few years ago because I don't have my GPS? And you ought to see me. If I misplace my phone, I'm just all over the place. Where's that phone? A business plan is just like that GPS. It is your roadmap. It gives you direction. And depending upon, all of us are here tonight, but depending upon your starting point, determine the route you took, right? Depending upon where you started, determine your route. Now, I came from the southern sector. I came from Cedar Hill. So there was a specific route that it took me. Somebody else may have come from West Dallas. Someone else may have come from a different area. You may have come from Garland. But depending upon your starting point, it helps you determine how do you get to your end. And that's what your business plan should do. It should be a guideline, your roadmap, that gives the details of how you plan to achieve your goals. Your goals is that ending point. So that business plan routes you, how do you do that? How will the business operate? And this last one, I heard Mark say that it should be written by the business owner. I will never, ever, ever write a business owner's business plan. Why is that?
Because you know your business, they don't want to know.
Absolutely. Why else?
It's their passion.
Exactly. And when you,
Say it again?
she say it one more time for me.
It's their passion, not hers.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have people, I've had doctors, I've had lots of people that say, Lolita, write my plan for you. And I said, nope, I'll help you write your plan, but I will not write your plan. There is a disservice. And I've had clients that come in the office, they bring these beautiful plans, this thick long. And all I do is flip 1 or 2 pages and say, well, tell me about this. And you know, like that look you get with like the deer in the headlights? I know immediately they didn't write that plan. So imagine if you're trying to go after customers or you're going after lending and you can't explain anything in your plan. You are the person that writes that because, as April said, you have the passion for it and nobody else is going to tell your story like you can. Right? All right. Next one. Mr. Eduardo.
Elements of a business plan. Business plan, key assets, structure, funding, brand, people, market, sales.
Okay, so a business plan, it has different purposes, depending on what you're writing that plan for. A plan can be this thick, plan can be this thick, but it depends on what you are using the business plan for that will tell me how thick it should be. You see, it's not important to fill your plan with fluff. It is important to fill your plan with meat, something that can be used, okay? And we'll go a little bit more into that. Oh, that's a lot, Andre. There's a lot, so just read me the main topics.
Sections of a business plan, executive summary, company, product and or services, target markets, strategy and implementation, financial plan.
Okay, so you have all this, and I hope y'all can read it. It may be tiny, but you might put magnifying glass up there. We'll go a little bit more. So if I'm creating this business plan, first of all, let me ask you, what are you creating a plan for? Why do you need a business plan? Why do you need a plan? Yes, ma'am.
Well, if you don't have any structure, you don't have a base what you're starting from, you're not knowing how to spend your money, you're not knowing the market that you're going after. You don't even have enough to go to a bank and ask for money, you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, so it's for you, it is getting your thoughts on paper, to outline, to bring all that stuff together. How many people, I've talked to a lot of people say, well, it's all up here. That's wonderful. That's really, really great that it's up here. But I need you to put it on paper because for just what you said, lending. So if you're going after lending, there are certain sections that I encourage you to always have because I talk to a lot of banks. This executive summary, now the executive summary, and we'll talk about it in a minute, it is the first thing that you see. It is your calling card. It is your introduction, and it is just that, a summary. There are things that you put in the summary. You're not going to, in detail, it's summarizing. Although it is the first thing that is seen, it is the last thing that is written. So if you're going after lending, I would say make sure you have a company overview. Make sure you talk about the management team. Now, if this is a brand new business, will a brand new business have company history? No, it's not necessary. But if I was talking to an existing business owner, I want to know that history, right? If I've already been in business, you at the beginning start, you may have a mission statement, and you might, but you won't have any locations if you're a brand new business start, right? Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. You're trying to get there, and even if you have a location, if it's a new start, you just got there, right? Under the products and services, you want to describe that, but this competitors right here, this competition, I want to know about that if you're going after lending. Target market, market research, and I'm going to go a little bit more deeper into those. If you're going after lending, my recommendation is that you have this part in your plan. You want to try, and I'll tell you why that market research is important. You can also talk about a marketing plan, what you want to do if it's a brand new start. Sales activity. If you're a brand new business, do you have sales activities just yet?
No.
No, but if you're an existing business, you should. And then, of course, the financial piece. Most lenders, if it's a brand new business start, they want you to do this, revenue forecast. Y'all heard these terms? These aren't new terms to you, are they? They want you to forecast. What is a forecast? What's ahead? A prediction. It's your best guess. But I always say base your best guess off of factual data. It's not assumptions only. Base it off some kind of data. We go into that. So the executive summary. We talked about that. It's the first thing that you see. It is your calling card. Now this is what I encourage you to do in that executive summary. Give me enough to catch me, to draw me in. If you make that summary too shallow, what do you think most people are going to do with that plan? If it's shallow, what do? They sit inside. You didn't grab me. In fact, I believe the statistic says that you have 30 seconds to make an impression, right? 30 seconds. 30 seconds to make an impression. This is your opportunity in this executive summary. To make an impression, you put enough in there to make them want to read a little bit more. It may be your passion, and I have a client right now. He's very passionate about what he's doing. And when he talks about his passion. And I look at his audience, and it's just like this. Tell me what problem you're solving. Tell me that you've come up with a solution. And that's what you do in your summary. Again, we go a little bit more detail, just get down the road.
Well,
Yes, love question.
Wouldn't, having a professional write your business plan so that it could be worded in a way to grab attention sometimes be more feasible than a person who does not have the literary skills to put it on paper?
Okay, I understand that, and I would still say no. I still would say no. I think you can get someone's feedback.
Yeah.
But I often say, just sit down and write what's in your heart.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
But everyone does not have the capability to put thoughts on paper in a way that people
I get you.
understand what's going on.
I get you.
So in those cases, I mean, that's why I would assume that's why they have professional business plan writers.
Could be, but I'm the kind of advisor that say, I'm gonna stretch you, and I want you to do it anyway. Because you never perfect something you don't do. And if you spend all your time saying, I can't do it, I don't have this, that part of you won't grow. So I would be the kind of advisor to say, I understand that, but you started. Then we can come back and I can give you some feedback. I can sit down with you and say, how about this, and what do you think of this? But for me, it is not good enough to say, I don't have it, then you gotta get it. I wanna stretch you that far to get it.
But to me, and this is my opinion, to me, I'm not I don't want you to perfect me. I'm trying to get some money. And that's what I want. My goal is to get financing for my business, not to perfect my literacy.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you. Now, let me tell you some of the best counseling sessions that I have, and I like Mr. Taylor. The best counseling sessions that I have with a client is that we go back and forth. That's his opinion, I'm gonna give you mine. And the best counseling sessions is, we're gonna do this, so I'm gonna disagree with you. The goal is to perfect you, because you're the business owner. That money, you could spend a whole bunch of time doing this, when you could have done a little less work and got this done. It's not working just harder, it's working smarter. And who knows if challenging you to grow your vocabulary, to grow your communication, that you could be standing in front of an audience, and if you hadn't grown that way, you can never present your business. So I'm gonna push back and say, I don't agree. Growing your business is growing you. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here just to talk about your business. I'm here to talk about you. Because if I can give you classes, the classes is not for the sake of giving you business classes. The purpose of classes is to grow you. And if we grow you, then your business automatically grows because you know more. All right? Yes, sir, Mr. Armando.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Is it fair to say that the executive summary is basically your elevator pitch?
Could be. Could be.
Cool.
It's a summary.
Right?
Great. Let's see. Who am I at? Andre. With Andre. Let's see.
Company overview, a brief summary of the company's legal structure, ownership, history, goals, objectives, and location.
Okay? It is, look at that word overview. It's an overview. When you see words like summary, when you see words like overview, that's not your place to go into details. You're giving the highlights of that. It is the highlight, a company overview. You want to give a brief summary of the company's legal structure. Are you a sole proprietorship? Or are you an LLC? Or are you a general partnership? You give that information. You talk about, the ownership. You give a little history. And this history right here is not the history as if you've been in business for a while. It's what brought you to the place that you are in. For me, the reason why I wanted to start a company that dealt with empowering employees about human resources, because my background is human resources. So you talk about what brought you to the place that you are now. And most of us start businesses based off of passion or something that we can do. Am I right? Think about everybody in this room. You're starting a business based off of something that you are passionate about or something that you are really good at. Right? I know of nobody, well, let me take that back. I do know a couple of people, they come in the office and they want to start a business because they want to make a lot of money. And there's nothing wrong with that, but if that's their only motivation, sometimes when it gets hard, that's not enough to keep them going. But most of us start because of a passion or something that we're good at. All right, the management team.
Management team and organization. Organization charts, bindings of key persons, legal structure, certifications, license, and permits.
Okay, now this part right here, you absolutely, positively have to have information about the management team. Why? Especially if you're going after lending. Why is that important?
So for the people who would be handling the funds if you were to get the loan.
Bingo. Lenders want to know who's going to make decisions about the money that you're asking me for. Now, going after money, you're asking them to take a risk. And the example that I always like to give when you're going after lending is, imagine if I had met, now today is my first time meeting most of you. I met Leah a couple of days ago. But today is my first time meeting everybody in this room. So let's say if we had met up in, what's your favorite place? What's your favorite store? Grocery store.
Grocery store?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just shopped there.
Right.
Okay, let's see. Kayla, what's your favorite grocery store?
Whole Foods.
Okay, ooh, right on something. Yeah, you would have met me at, I would have met you at Whole Foods. So let's say we met in Whole Foods yesterday, and I walked up to you and say, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, would you lend me $1,000?
No.
She did. Well, can you lend me $500?
No.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, Kayla's response is what most of us would say, right? However, if I was a really good friend or a relative that you knew I was good for it, and I said, Katie, would you lend me $15? What would you probably say?
Yeah, you can have it, I wouldn't lend it to you.
Okay. Just give it to me?
Yeah, it's
But
$15.
even in lending, what questions do you tend to ask when people ask to borrow money?
When they
When you gonna pay, there you go, everybody know that one. When you gonna pay me back? Sometimes it's how much you want, what do you want it for, and when you're gonna pay me back, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are that stranger when you walk into a lender. They know nothing about you. And they're gonna ask those same 3 questions. What do you want it for? And when are you gonna pay me back? What was the third one? I missed one. What do you want it for? When you gonna pay me back? Those are the main 2.
What you gonna do with it?
What you gonna do with it?
Oh,
That's what your business plan has to tell them. What are you gonna do with it? Well, I think what you want it for is the same one, and how are you gonna pay it back? You are that stranger. And that's why it's important to know, they wanna know who's gonna make decisions about this money. And who's there gonna say, we will use it for here, we'll use it for working capital, or we're gonna use this money to buy a piece of equipment. So you wanna include your bios of the key persons, the legal structure again, certifications, licenses, and permits. Why is it, certifications and licensing, why is that important?
They wanna know how you've invested in your business. What have you done? Is there anything that has to be invested? Any certifications, any permits? What have you done before you come to us to make you actually, the responsible person or somebody that can be accountable for?
Okay?
Or, is it a hobby or are you really in business? Some people think they're hairstylists and they're just in the kitchen. You don't have any license or permits, you're not in business.
Okay, very good. The one that came to mind for me, imagine if I wanted to open up a daycare. State of Texas have regulations and guidelines of what that's supposed to look like. So why isn't that good to know that I've already gone through that process, as Lakeisha said, to make sure I've acquired those things that I need, those licensing, those permits that I'll need right up front. Exactly. All right, next one.
Products and services. Specifically, what do you sell? How much do they sell for? Who are your competitors?
Okay? It is the what, the how, and the who. Now, I'm gonna stop here at this competitive part right here. Let's talk a little bit about competition. How many of you guys have competitors? Everybody's hands is going up. We all have competitors. Do you imagine, now there may be some instances when you may not have any competition. When Facebook first came out, did they have any competitors?
They had MySpace.
Okay, well what happened before MySpace?
Facebook came out first. And then MySpace was.
But wouldn't you have competitors, even if it's not necessarily another Facebook, but it could just be anything that, like digital media entertainment, that's still a competitor?
You got it. It's called direct competitors or indirect competitors. So let's talk about that a little bit. Direct competitors. Who's the direct competitor of McDonald's?
Burger King.
Okay.
Burger.
Burger King, who else?
Burger.
Burger. Okay. Hitting that Eduardo's. What's another direct competitor for McDonald's? Jack in the Box. Who else? Wendy's.
Krusty Krab.
Who? Sonic. Did you say Sonic Crab?
No, I said Krusty Krab.
Okay. What's another one? I know there's another. What about Whataburger? Okay.
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. Just In Burger. Five Guys. Smash Burgers. So in a matter of a few seconds, we named 10 direct competitors for McDonald's. Now name me some indirect competitors for McDonald's.
Taco Bell.
Applebee's.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Steak
Steak and Shake. Church's Chicken. What else? It could be an indirect. So a direct competitor is anyone that sells the same product or service. Indirect is any other place a person can go to get, let's say, using fast food. So direct competitor for McDonald's is any other hamburger joint. Indirect competitor is any other place a person can go to get a fast meal.
But
Okay.
in that case, I think that McDonald's or Smash Burger, something like that, is not direct competitor. The burger is not direct competitor.
Talk to me a little bit more. Why?
Because McDonald's is a fast food and the others, we are more similar to burgers or it's not fast food.
Okay, so we may be talking about a limited restaurant, or we may talk about a full service restaurant. But if you're selling burgers, it's still a direct competitor. Your goal as a business owner is to create a niche that is so good that when a person think about a burger, McDonald's is not even on the menu. They don't even think about it. Go ahead, you about to say something else.
Yeah, well, it's different. The burger we can offer that the burger that offer McDonald's. The quality,
I get that.
I think it's different. It's the same in the mind of the burger, no? But it's different if some customers go to McDonald's. No, I don't go to McDonald's. I come here to eat a good burger. No?
Okay.
And the other is fast food and $1 burger.
Okay, so you're saying, you just repeated me. Because what you just described to me is, I have a niche that McDonald's doesn't have. It's still a hamburger.
Yeah.
It's a hamburger. And you said something that I thought was pretty interesting. You said people may call it a hamburger. You see, it's about perception. If we call it a hamburger when you take two pieces of bread and you put a piece of meat in it, and it's burger, it's beef, then we call it so it goes by the perception of the people. And if the perception of the community is that that is a hamburger, and you say, I have this hamburger or this thing that has two pieces of bread and a piece of beef in the middle of it, that perception. But what you're saying to me is you need to carve out a niche. Now, if I'm at lunchtime and I only have 30 minutes, can I come to your place and sit down and have that? It's wonderful. It sounds like it's just much better than what I could get at McDonald's. But can I come to your place?
Yeah.
In 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
In 30 minutes, then it's fast food.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
Fast food is they do us in master and they give you in 5 minutes.
If you can serve me a burger within 5 minutes,
No, I can serve in 10 minutes.
if you got it in 10 minutes, it's still fast food. You see, full service restaurant means I am taking time. I will sit down. I'm not rushing. I'm not really fast. So, but that's the difference. I love it. I love it. I like when people come back at me because my brain is moving. All right, wonderful. Competitors, we talked about that. Here's something I want to point out here. When you're looking at direct and indirect competitors, you want to research beyond Google. Google is a source, right? But I want you to research beyond Google, and I recommend that you look at least 6 competitors. Create what is called a SWOT analysis. Everybody know what a SWOT analysis is? Can someone tell me what does SWOT stand for?
Weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Why is that important? Why is it important for you to do a SWOT analysis on your competitors? Who cares what your competitors are doing? You got it going on. Why do you need to look at your competitors?
Well, if it's something that they're doing that their customers don't like, they're not gonna come back. So you wanna do the exact opposite of what they're doing to run the customers off, and that's gonna bring them to you.
Okay, very good. So you just want to find out what are their weaknesses. What about their strengths? What can you do with a competitor's strengths?
Learn from it.
Learn from it. What opportunities? What about opportunities? Well, why is it important for you to know what opportunities out there for your competitors?
Because you can take advantage of the same opportunities.
Okay? And the threats. Here's a true story. Tell you a true story. Excuse me. 2 engineers that work for Microsoft went on vacation with their families. The story doesn't say where they went, but they went on vacation, and they decided to rent out a home and not live in a hotel. So wherever they went, they wanted this hotel, this house. When they got there, it was raining, and they couldn't enjoy the amenities. So they couldn't go outside and enjoy what that city had to offer. So they started playing board games. And the first game that I think they played was called Scrabble. How many people play Scrabble? Okay. Why do you play Scrabble? Did you say you play Scrabble?
Yeah, I have one.
Why do you play Scrabble?
Kind of stimulates the brain for one thing.
Very good.
Yeah.
So good with the coming up with words and things like that. Okay. Well, they played Scrabble. It was still raining, so they decided to play Pictionary. Anybody play Pictionary? Not very many people play Pictionary. You know, Pictionary you get to pick teams, right? I never get picked for the team. Because my horses look like rats and my rats look like horses, so I don't ever get picked to be on Pictionary team. Or I'm the last one. Can somebody please pick me on their team? So they played Pictionary, and what they noticed is that every board game they played, it was skewed to the skill set of a particular group. So in Scrabble, if you had a good vocabulary, you could articulate very well, you tended to do well. In Pictionary, if you could draw very well, you had an advantage over everybody else on the team. So these two engineers decided to do a little research. They started researching and doing market research and found that every game on the market had what they called a unilateral platform, uni, meaning one. That they were all built upon this one skill set, and it didn't matter how many times they played, that particular person with that skill set had an advantage. After doing their research, they decided to create a different kind of game that had a multi-level platform, that no one particular skill set. So throughout the whole game, if you could draw, you had an advantage. But at some point, if you didn't have this skill, you could take the lead. Well, they researched and said that the president of Amazon was in New York doing a book signing. And they found out that the president of Amazon had an opportunity to get in on the ground floor of a board game and didn't take it. And he said, if I ever have another opportunity, I'm going to get in on that ground floor. Well, with board game in hand, they go to New York, present that game to the president of Amazon, and those two engineers who already made a good salary with Microsoft are now millionaires. The name of that game is Cranium. You can look it up. How many people have ever heard of Cranium? That's how Cranium came to be. And as a result of that first board game, they then created a Cranium Junior. And I believe they have other games further than that. Now, why is that story important, or where I'm talking about competition? Because it was no way, I don't care how much money these engineers made, it was no way that they were going to compete with Milton Bradley and Parker Brothers, who were the market industry leaders on board games. They didn't have enough money. They couldn't compete with them. But what they found was something that they did not do. And they created what they did not do. Nobody else in the board game industry were creating games that leveled the playing field. So they created their own niche. Are you creating a niche? Is it just another one? What is your niche? I want your thoughts to start board. What is your niche?
That's the case, for example, for Blockbuster and Redbox.
Okay, yeah.
And they started with the niche of digital.
Very good. And
Blockbuster need to close.
yeah, Blockbuster is going. How many of y'all have vinyl records? I expect, yeah, I got a couple of vinyl records. But I told my kids, even, now my children are 29, 30, and 31. And one day we were talking and I said, go buy me that CD. And they say, Mama, CD really? We don't even do CDs. But I'm going, what do you do then? How do I get the music? And it's something called Spotify or something? What is it called? I know y'all know. It's Spotify. So think about technology and things change. So as you're creating this company, even at the beginning that you're doing it now, I want you to keep a thumbprint. Keep abreast of how is technology going to change what you're doing, because it will change. It will affect you in some kind of way. And so you want to be abreast of that. 2 minutes? Okay, all right. Well, how about we just do that now? All right, so we're going to take a break. For how long, Mr. Mark?
7 minutes.
7 minutes. All right, we'll come back.
I won't keep y'all here late. I'll be on time.
Well, okay,
That's good. On time.
you can tell them let us go.
All right.
All right.
All right, so we're at Target Market. Who's up to read next? Is that Miss Teresa? Are you next? Tommy, sorry about that. I can't see that.
Target market, who would buy your products or services? Consumer, small and medium-sized business, private, public corporations, government, local, state, and federal.
Okay, when I hear the word target market, there's something that always comes to mind for me. It's this mannequin. I'm going to paint a picture for you. And if you go to Macy's or any clothing store, you can find mannequins, right? And when I think about my market, what I wanna know is, and want you to think about is, how do you put the profile or create a profile for this ideal customer? And so that mannequin, like I told you, I was in San Francisco last week, and I walked by Macy's. And on that mannequin, they had boots, they had a nice scarf, they had all of this wool clothing, and we're walking around in t-shirts and shorts. Because what Macy's want me to know is that they're not interested so much in me buying any more shorts. They want me to buy some boots. They want me to buy this nice hat, this warm hat. So when you look at your target market, you want to think about, what is the profile? What does that customer look like? What do they have on? You want to paint that picture in your head. Is it an idea? Now, I was talking with Andre, with Seven Oaks, and I know that Andre teaches piano. But who is Andre's target market? Somebody said kids?
Parents.
It's parents. Why? Why parents? You got it. Children have the ability to pay for nothing. And I'm going to tell you, that's the exact reason why Disney World is so good at what they do. They're very clear on who their target market is, and they're very clear on what they sell. What does Disney sell? Family experience. And who is Disney's target market? Children. I'm going to disagree. Disney will tell you, we sell the ability to make memories. In fact, if you go to Disney, you walk in, it says, let the memories begin. Disney is in the business of creating an intangible. It is let the memories begin. And because they are in the business of making memories, their target market are parents and grandparents. For the same reason his audience is parents, Disney says, we know who our target market is because children don't have the ability to pay for anything, and neither do they care about making memories. And they're so good at it. Has anybody been to Disney World? Okay. How many times have you been?
I've been once.
You've been once? I've been one too. That's about as much as I can afford at one time. But there are people that they take little Timmy. He was 2 years old when they went to Disney World, but now Timmy is 6 years old, and we need to make some more memories with Timmy. And people come over, and it ain't cheap. It is not cheap at all. But people find the money to continue to make these memories. Disney is very clear on their market. And if you think of some of the best companies, I want you to think of the most successful companies that you can think of. If you look at their target market and how they sell their product, it is always related to an intangible. It is something that you feel. They know that. They study us. It's called the psychograph. They understand. Have you ever went to a store and they sell something for $9.99? That's $10.
Right.
But the $9.99 does what for you?
Yeah.
It gives you that feeling, I'm getting a good deal. It's only a penny. You can go find it on the ground. So it is the psychology of how we buy and how we spend. Know your customer's profile. What makes them part with their money? There's a saying that says, features tell, but benefits sell. You can tell me about your features, and I ask about your business, and most of the time when I ask about businesses, people tell me their features. I do this, I do this. But it is the benefits that make people part with their money. How many of you guys have a mortgage here, that you pay a mortgage every month? Okay? Do you enjoy paying that mortgage? Say that again now?
It's better than paying rent.
It's better than paying rent? Okay. Why? Why is it better?
Because you'll see that money again going back to your bottom line.
So it's something for you. That's your benefit, right? I paid mortgage. My kids are all grown and gone, but I remember when they were small, I wanted to buy this house. Single parent, wanted to buy this house because I wanted them to be safe. I wanted something that I could call my home. Can you feel that? Can you feel it? And let me tell you how good Disney is, how good they do it. Show you commercials. So picture this in your mind. So the parents walk in the room, the kids is in the den pretending that they're doing their homework, right? And parents walk in and say, we're going to Disney World. them kids and stuff, yay, we're going to Disney World. Probably know what Disney World is, but they excited. And the little girl runs over to her daddy, and she grabs her daddy by the neck and says, "You are the best daddy in the world." And the little boy walks over to his mom and says, "Nobody else's mom is as cool as me, as cool as you." Now here's the deal. What daddy don't want his little girl to think he's the best? Or what mama don't want her son to think he's the best? So they're good at crafting and understanding. You have to reach people in an intangible place. You can talk to me all day about buying clothes or buying shoes. And the reality is I could go down the road and find somebody else that can sell me clothes and shoes. But if you talk to me about what those clothes and shoes will do for me, a perfect example, I'm going to show it to you really, really fast. I was going to pass it up. And I'm going to show it to you really, really fast. We're still talking about Target Market. Who buys this kind of car?
Me.
Mark said me. Who would buy this kind of car? How much do you think this car costs? Okay.
What is it? Is that a Maserati?
It's just a sports car. It is a Martin DBS. Aston Martin DBS.
Oh, that's running about 150.
150? 150. This is a $275,000 car. Okay? Alright. Alright, what about this one? Who buys this kind of car?
Family.
There you go, soccer mom. She got to get all them kids in the car, and they're gonna be tracking mud and everything else. Okay, what about this one? Who buys this one?
Not me.
I would say college student.
College kids.
Erica Badu has a car like that.
Now, I don't like that, but I do have a compact car. Now, why is this important?
Yeah.
Because every time, if you go to this car dealership, you can go to a dealership that have all three of these cars on the lot, and the salesman walk up. If it's a mom that has children, do you think that salesman is going to take her to these cars here? Why?
She has children, 2-door.
Understanding your market.
Yeah.
Understanding the needs and wants of your customers is important. What do they want and what do they need? All right, so that is target market. We're moving on to the next one. I get so excited about this stuff. Definition of market. Now, who are we at now?
Okay, market research, industry analysis, market growth and overview, key customers.
Okay, why is it important for you to do market research? Why is that important?
It lets you know what you're getting yourself into.
Okay. What else?
It tells you something about the actual market that you're going into. You kind of have to have some kind of understanding of it.
Yeah, like how much money you're gonna make and stuff.
Okay, okay, yes ma'am.
Business sense about it.
Okay, all right, beautiful. Yes ma'am.
I'm sorry.
No? Okay, okay.
If you're marketing, for instance, you're a daycare and you're marketing, and you're nowhere near a school, it doesn't make sense for you to market somewhere where you need to know what audience you're going towards. If you're a daycare, you're gonna be next to a school somewhere in walking distance, so you have to see what's around you to get your business and grow.
Okay, now that's marketing, but this is market research. I'm gonna give an example. I need 5 people. I need 5 people that are brave enough to come up front. Who's brave?
You can pick 5.
Oh, okay, I remember. All right.
Go ahead.
Come on,
I'll pick
Lakeisha.
4. No, if you
Okay, and I want you to hold it just like this and go to that end over there.
need 3 more.
Right here.
3 of them.
Right by the key.
3. That's good. Okay, see number 3.
All right,
8
right here.
is 5. That means
Just like this. Just like this. And then just right here. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a story. We'll make this, and this may be my last point till I go to something else. Let me tell you how powerful market research is. Now, what is this that Lakeisha's holding here?
A telephone.
Telephone. You remember that phone? Has anybody ever used that kind of phone? That
The only old guy here.
we ain't gonna say too much more. But on that phone, okay, the way you use that phone, you have to crank it up, right? And have you ever seen a commercial where the little old lady is talking in here and she got her earpiece, she got it all mixed up? But that was the first phone. Now turn it over and keep on the other side. That's phone number 1. Now that phone, how many people recognize that kind of phone?
Yeah.
That's that dial. So you pick up the receiver. Now what happens if you mess up? Hang it up and you start all back over again, right? That's that dial tone, that dial phone. Now, Armando is holding, anybody remember the telephone booth?
Yes.
Anybody use telephone booth? Y'all did? Now if you want to go buy a booth, it's an antique. Right? But you go in, that's how Superman became famous. He went into the telephone booth and popped out and he was Superman. Now turn on the other side. Now, what is that? It's an answering machine. Anybody remember the old tape? Did y'all have a cassette tape? Now what I'm showing to you is market research on the communications industry. This is what we're talking about. So it transitioned, and here's the deal. When you were down at Lakeisha's way, in order for somebody to talk to you, you had to be at home. Right? That was the only way they could reach you. You had to be sitting at home for them to reach you. The telecommunications industry started progressing that you didn't only have to be at home, you could go to a phone booth and call someone, right? And then when it got here, you could get a little answering machine. You didn't have to be at home anymore, and they could leave you a message. And those little red and white cassette tapes, if they broke, you were messed up because you didn't need any more messages. But this telecommunications industry is progressing, and it goes from a little analog answering machine to a digital answering machine. What do you think happened to that company that used to make them little tapes? Don't know. But if they didn't keep up with the times, they are probably going out of business. So now it's moving to a digital answering machine. Time moves on. Telecommunications industry start progressing, and you come up with this. What is this? Anybody know what this is? That was that first cell phone. You had to get some muscles just to hold that bad boy. But a couple of people had them, and only if you had a whole lot of money you could carry around that bad boy. Get that one. If you would turn it over, that cell phone that then progressed, it wasn't, you didn't have to have the battery pack, but it was this big old hunky thing that was on your ears, right? People thought they were cool. They had them because they were first in, and they made money for a time. Telecommunications industry is moving. And then we get to this. What are those? Pages. How many of y'all had pages? Yeah, a lot of pages. I used to say the cool people had pages, so I wasn't cool because I never got a page. You remember when your pager go off when you look at your little hip? What did you do after your pager went off? You went to the phone booth. The phone booth was gone. You went to the payphone that was located where?
On the corner.
At the gas station, right between the water and the air. And you drove up right between there. Sometimes you got out, sometimes you didn't. You made your call. So now, if someone wanted to reach you, they could reach you outside of you coming home and listening to a machine. You could be on the go. It became mobile. Pages made us mobile that we couldn't talk to them immediately, but you could at least knew that they were trying to get in contact with you. So if you turn on the other side. Then we came out with the cell phones. Now, how many of y'all have these kind of cell phones, these flip phones? You have flip phones?
No, I used to.
Okay. You have flip phones, really? Don't see those very much. In fact, you can trade them in, but you won't get very much money for them, right? So the telecommunications industry is moving. It's moving, it's changing. And now we come up to what we have now. How many people have iPhones or Androids? Anything on the back? All right. Would you read this statement? Read it very loud.
Industry analysis prevents an entrepreneur from attempting to open a pager company in a cell phone world.
Okay. The reason why you need to do market research, because you don't want to try to open a pager company in a cell phone world. If you do that, if you try to start a company, I don't care how passionate you are about starting your company, if you don't do the market research to find out where is that industry, you can work very hard to open up something that is doomed to fail. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give my hand. Thank you. So if anything else, your market research is vital. Now we use a tool to help you at the SPDC. I told you earlier, we have a tool to help you do market research. Gotta do your research, gotta know what's happening. And the name of that company that we use, it's called Ibis World. Has anybody ever heard of Ibis World? You heard of Ibis World? Ibis World are the industry intelligence leaders. You want market research? I call this my cheat sheet, and every client that I have, I will automatically give them an Ibis World report. And all I want them to do is read about what's happening in their industry, because I don't want them trying to open up a pager company in the cell phone world. In this industry report, governments use IBIS World, large corporations use IBIS World. Now, if you try to go out there, you could go out there and get an IBIS World report, and it'll cost you about $300, $400, $500, $600. Yeah, what? Yeah. But if you go and talk to someone at the SBDC and you become a client, we pay the subscriptions and we give it to you at no cost. So an IBIS World report. Now, I want to show you how powerful this report is. Somebody give me, name an industry for me. Any industry.
So where do you get this information from?
The department stores.
The department stores.
The retail?
You said, I heard two questions. Where do I get this information from?
Yeah, the IBIS.
You go to the SBDC, become a client, and any SBDC council can give you an IBIS report.
No, like, where does the IBIS get it from?
They do the research.
Oh, okay.
They have people that literally research industries. Give me an industry. Which one did I hear?
Retail.
Retail? What kind of retail?
Clothing.
I love it when the first person gives me that. Anytime I'm giving a presentation, I will make sure you get an industry report. Because if you were bold enough to give me your industry, I want to give you as much information. Being the last person and keeping your mouth closed may cost you something, but I will make sure you get an industry report. So when you bring up IBIS World, they've broken it down to clothing alteration service, clothing boutiques. I see yours right there. Now you see these numbers on the side here? Those numbers on the side, these here, this one here, this is called your NAICS code. If y'all heard of NAICS code, N-A-I-C code. So that's how we bring those up, is with your NAICS code. But this one right here, this clothing boutique, has an OD number. What that says to me, somebody requested IBIS World to do some research on clothing boutiques, and they didn't want to include it in a regular report, so they broke it out into its own report. And let me ask you, how much money do you think, now this is a national report, how much money do you believe is made in the United States under clothing boutiques on an annual basis? How much money do you think is made every year? Give me okay. Billions. Somebody else. Give me some. How much money? How much more money?
7 billion.
7 billion, Leah. How much do you think they make?
50 billion.
50 billion. You just threw it out there. 50 billion. So let's take a look. So right up front, IBIS World will tell you. It gives you this. It defines it and gives you key economic drivers. I really get excited about this stuff. So right up front, in a matter of moments, key economic drivers. This is what is driving this industry, the money that is pushing and where this money is coming from. And it gives me the key economic drivers, and it's based off per capita of disposable income. Makes sense, right? The more money people have, the more that they spend. Consumer confidence index. If there is a wane in, if unemployment is high, people don't tend to spend, they hold on to their money a little bit. That has to do with their confidence, the confidence of spending money. That's when you hear the Federal Reserve, when they start talking about interest rates, whether they're going to increase it or decrease it, what they're trying to control is this confidence and controlled spending. You also get percentage of service conducted. But over here, it gives me, I don't know why this keeps flicking like this, I apologize. It gives me supply industries. And these are the industries that supply to the clothing boutique, and look at this demand. Now this can be either good or it can be kind of scary, because that means you only have one source of demand, and it's only consumers. Another thing that IBIS World will show you is who the major players are, and then these additional resources. I encourage every business owner, if you own a business, there are associations and industries that are just designed to keep you going, to keep that industry going. If we're looking at your financials and you're trying to budget your money, you need to become a member of some association that is designed to keep your industry going. They're going to always be able to provide you with a whole lot more information than anybody else can, because this is what they do to keep this industry going. So let's take a look at how much money is made, because I want to give you a time of question and answer. Taking a little time. It's doing it. billion industry. That's only on clothing boutiques, not all clothing stores. That's just on boutiques in the United States. This report was last updated, and you want updated information. This report was last updated September of 2015, so this month, they updated this industry report. There's 3.8% of growth. Let me tell you why this is, let me tell you why that growth information is so interesting to me. Because Ivory's World has taken the time to tell me what is happening in that industry, and this was a time when there was a recession. This is, clothing boutiques is based off disposable income, but somehow this disposable income industry was still able to grow in a recession. Those are interesting facts you need to look into. They anticipate that there's going to be an additional growth of 1.8% between this year and up to 2020. Out of that 27.8 billion, 723 million was made in profit. 5.6 of that was paid in wages. Because that wage amount is so high, that automatically tells me you're going to have to hire some people because the trend is in hiring people. And when they did the report, there was 34,000 companies in the United States. Now pay attention, look here. There is, I don't know why I keep doing it, but there are no market leaders in this industry. So you need to know that. Now, we're talking about a business plan. Let me tell you, I'm gonna cut it out here. Why is market research important? Because you can create a business plan telling me about your dreams and about your hopes. But a really good business plan is substantiated with facts. This gives you facts. And if you're going after lending, you wanna have facts. Why is that a good industry for you to go into? What is happening? Where are they forecasting that industry to go? You need to know that information so that you can make really good decisions. I'm gonna end there, so if you have any questions, I'm open for questions. Yes, ma'am.
When it comes to the number of reports that your office will pull, if you have a company that has multiple NAS codes, do you pull reports specific to each NAS code?
You can. Yes, you can. Yeah, any other questions? Now, I have some questions. No questions? No other questions?
We've already attended SPDC. And we've already attended. And you said I can't want even though we're not, we kind of.
When did you go and see an SBDC camp?
Well, we went through a whole program, we just finished up and completed one on, end of last year, but right now we're still seeing somebody help us with our website.
Okay.
So
Who are you seeing?
Les Conley.
Okay,
Right
he can
now.
help you. Let's can get you the report. You can go to any SBDC, if you've been to an SBDC. There's a last tool that I want to show you is called Live Plan. This is your how. Now, not everybody in the office, not all advisors use Live Plan, but I wanted to show you Live Plan because I have found this to be by far one of the best ways to create a business plan. It gives it to you in a very user-friendly and easy way. If you come through the SBDC, Live Plan offers this program on a month-to-month basis. You don't have to sign a contract. It will be $19.95 a month. If you come through the SBDC, we can get it to you at $15.95. If you do annual subscription, it'll cost you, I think it's $11.95. Now, Live Plan makes it so easy that it gives you all of these chapter descriptions here. These are the bases of a business plan. And when you click on, under each one of those chapters, they give you some additional sub-chapters. Come on. Some additional sub-chapters if you wanted to add those. Now, you see those sub-chapters under there? Financial summary, objective, our focus, custom section. If you're going after lending in an executive summary, I would only tell you to use the part complete who we are. But let's say if you wanted to add one of these other, all you have to do is take it and move it up and it'll be inside of your plan. Now, once you get here to the plan and you hit I'm done, it takes you to that section, and each one of those sections, when you go to it, let's go to one that didn't have anything in it. Oh, there it is. Okay, and each one of these sections at the beginning, it gives you instructions. It tells you what goes into that section. You don't have, it tells you exactly what you should be putting into that section. And then on top of that, it gives gives you examples. Mr. Taylor, you said, what if a person's not good with their vocabulary? What if they can't put their words? It gives you examples of what somebody else said to get your thoughts flowing. If you see an example that you like, all you have to do is say, add that to my plan, go and revise it, and that's how you create your business plan. And that's a great part. The best part about Live Plan, it helps you with your forecasting. I have seen, and I've been doing this for 6 years, I haven't seen any other tool that makes it easy and accessible for you to create your forecasting in a matter of a few minutes. This is the best tool that I know of, and that's why when you told me the how, not everybody used it. Other people, you go talk to other advisors, they may have different tools that they use. I'm just saying by far, this is the best one that I've seen. You can customize it, you put your name on there, you put your forecasting in you want, it gives you a really nice cover, and then it gives you a final document. Let's see, let me go up here. And by the way, they give you 250 sample business plans, and all you have to do is go in there and say, let's say you're sticking with clothing. These are just sample business plans if you wanted to see other plans. And we're gonna open this one up, maternity clothing business. At the end, you get all of these sections, you get the company summary that you put in, and then the appendix, I wanna show you what your financials will look like in the end. You get a sales forecast where you put that, you get personnel plans, you can get a general assumptions, you get a pro forma, you get a P&L, you get a balance sheet, and all you're doing is inputting information. It takes all of that information and summarizes it and put it into one. This is a great tool that I enjoy using. Again, not everybody uses this. If you're interested, I'll tell more about it.
Right, I want everybody to use one format.
Okay.
So it'll be a consistent plan, and this is a good format to use.
This is the best that I've seen. That's what I use. This what you use? You use it already? Mm-hmm. Very good. All right. Well, thank you so very much for allowing me.
Tell them how they can get this, please.
Okay. You go to www.liveplan.com. www.liveplan.com.
There may be a cost associated with this.
There is a
But
cost.
you will get reimbursed at the end of the program when I give you your check.
Wow. If you have all that, if you got, I want to bring up prices, but I can bring up prices when I want to go to time. Again, it's $19.95. If you want to do month to month, you don't have to pay for a subscription. If you get your plan done within a month's time, you only pay $19.95. If it takes you 2 months, you pay $19.95 twice. If you can do that on a month-to-month basis, it's however long it takes you to get your plan done. If you come through the SBDC, I have a code. Not everybody has a code, but I will give you my code. If they come through my code, then you can get it for $15.95 a month. If you choose to do an annual subscription, you say, I want to have it for, because I didn't even begin to tap into what this program can do. If you want it on an annual basis, I think it's like $11.95 or $11.66 a month. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for your time. I hope you gathered some great information and you was able to receive some. Thank you very much.
Thank you.